Greetings, programmers! Busted Thumbs back. We're putting together our music player studio, and now we're up to episode lucky number 13. Where we left off last time, we had one measure playing with the melody and the accompaniment of our Twinkle Twinkle Little Star reading from the data. And we said that what we wanted to do is for each one of our players to wait until all of the other players were done before moving on to the next measure. Which means that instead of just playing through once, we actually ought to be repeating just not on the next note, but we need to be repeating on the measure as well. For now, I'm just going to pretend that this repeats forever. At some point, we're going to have to put in a condition that says we need to stop playing. So I'll put this repeat until inside here, and I'll put a repeat until inside here as well. And we'll use our isPlaying variable to track this, but we're not going to be actually setting this isPlaying. Is music playing? We're going to keep going until it's false, and we'll do that twice. So let's go ahead and just duplicate that guy, stick it in there, and then we need to make sure that somebody is setting this is music playing to true. No, not that. Not is playing, no, but is music playing. There we go. Make sure that one person sets that to true in the beginning. This right now, because this is always going to be true, because we're not changing is music playing, you can just think about this as forever repeating inside here. Now the simplest way we could do this is to actually to go ahead and put a wait inside, and wait until. And in this case, we want to make sure we wait until the playing players count is equal to 0. Okay, so for this guy, that's pretty easy. He just rests the whole time. He decrements. He takes down by 1 the playing players count, and then he waits until it goes back up again. Well, before we repeat and do that again, we do have to change it back to say that we are playing again. So, whoops, not set. We want to actually change the playing players count by 1. So what's it doing? It's decrementing it down, waiting till it hits to 0, and then incrementing it back up again. And if everybody does that, we'll get to a point where everybody is doing the same thing, waiting until it gets to 0, and then starting right back up again. Okay, so go ahead and move that out so we can see it a little bit better. Let's just go ahead and stick that all the way up over here. So these guys are now doing the same thing. They're coming through and they're decrementing it by 1. They're waiting until the playing players count is equal to 0, and they're incrementing it back up. So it should go from 3 back down to 0, back up to 3. And everybody waits at that point in between measures. Now I hope that doesn't introduce too much of a delay between measures, that Scratch does this really quickly. So let's see how this works. Twinkle, twinkle. Oh, it's not playing anything at all. Let's see, is music playing set to true here? It should be. Oh, it's false. So how did that happen? I thought we were setting it to true right there. Do we set it back to false somewhere else? Is anybody else handling it? Play current music? Just trying to understand why that guy would be still false. Hit play, like that. Click on that. It went up to 3, so it certainly got into there. Why did this guy not happen? My instrument index. Oh, because this guy should be 0. To make sure that the first one, that we have a 0 inside there. And that doesn't actually matter, I don't think. But I'll go ahead and set that to 0 too. Let's see if that solves our little problem. Okay. So it went through, it set is music playing to true, and it set the playing players up to 3, because each one of them should have been doing that. Unfortunately, they didn't all go down back to 1, back down to 0. So let's figure out why that might have happened. So let's go back our music player over here. Make sure that this guy is each one of them should have changed the playing players count by 1, taking it up to 3. And we need to make sure both of these guys got in there. So let's go ahead and we have to debug this. So I'm going to have to go back to using my debug message, which is down here. Put that guy in there so I can, well, I'll keep him down the bottom so we can see him. Let's go ahead and make sure he gets cleared out. Debug message right there. Whoops. Debug message to cleared. And I'm going to just make sure that both of these guys are doing their job. So I'm going to go ahead and set the debug message when we get into here. And again, we're going to have to join debug message with let's go ahead and join it with my instrument index. Oh, I didn't want all of that, I just wanted that. And we'll put it in here. This should make sure that we're getting all the instrument indexes coming through once. So you should see a 0, a 1, and a 2 inside the debug message when we play this thing. And we do. Okay. So we got here and we got here for sure. Let's go ahead and move the order of this a little bit. This will tell us if it's repeating inside of each one of those things. Alright. So we got 2 repeating over and over again, it looks like, and not the others. Why is that? We should have seen 0 come through, because certainly 0 happened at least once. 0 came through. It should have rested for, how many beats per measure do we have in there? Should have been 4. Yep. It should have changed player count by -1. And then it should have waited. Okay, so we can always see if we get to the other side of the wait. This will tell us who's getting to the other side of the wait. Because we know they're getting in there. Let's see who's getting here. For some reason 2 is getting there and the others aren't. Does that mean that we get to players playing count and somebody does something and the other 2, probably because we increase it right away, the other 2 never notice that we've been able to increase it? Yeah, okay. So we're going to have to solve that problem. Let me explain what's going on here. What's going on here is that the first person who gets past this wait is immediately increasing the playing players count by 1. So it's setting it back up to 1 again. And it's doing that before the other 2 players have their wait hit. So playing players count is going right back up to 1 again. So you would see that if I took these things out, it would play 2 measures, I believe. Oh no, it would just keep playing because we weren't increasing the count. So we need to have a mechanism in here that makes sure that everybody sees that player's playing count getting to 0. There's a few ways we could probably do that. One way would be to maybe use a list instead. Make sure that all the list items are catching that and then setting it back again. One way might be to use an event. Let me think about the various approaches we want to take there, and we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it the next time around. But let me show you just where this is. If we take these 2 out, I'm going to go ahead and hit play here. And then we're stuck waiting for players count. That doesn't seem right either. So let me see that again. That value goes up to 3. Then it's at -2. So somebody's changing. Oh, it gets into here. It's so quick that it gets all the way into here again. All right. I'll take the time in between the break to figure out which approach I want to take to fix this little problem, and we'll get back to it because this is unlucky number 13. We ran into another problem, but by 14 I'm sure we'll have it all figured out. So I'll take a few minutes in between. You don't need to do that with me. All you have to do is hit play on the next one and we'll have a technique figured out for getting past this. Thanks for listening this far. We will get this up and running and working and playing music again shortly. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for listening. Bye.